It began as a set of practices that developed over the course of several years by heathens living in Northern California. It has since grown into a vibrant, inclusive, spiritual tradition. Its core beliefs and practices are laid out in my book, The Way of Fire and Ice. At the core of radical heathenry are 5 points that set it apart from other forms of heathen practice and define every aspect of this form of spirituality. These are living tradition, inspired adaptation, modern relevance, inclusive practice, and active involvement. Living tradition asserts that our practices are always growing and changing to best meet the needs of the practitioners in facing the challenges of the world we live in. Inspired adaptation argues that surviving source materials such as the Eddas and historical sources are a starting point for developing practice and not the be-all and end-all of what can be done in heathenry. Modern relevance claims spiritual practices and developments should find ways to be relevant for practitioners in the here and now and adapt to present conditions while retaining the core source of inspiration that makes it heathen. Inclusive practice is the principle that all people are welcome to practice regardless of race, gender, sexuality, nationality, ability, or gender identity. And people advocating for bigoted ideologies should be actively excluded due to the harm they cause and represent. Active involvement accepts that spiritual practice permeates all aspects of life and should inspire us to take actions that make the world a better place. The source of inspiration for this practice is pre-Christian Nordic spirituality, as described in surviving source materials. These are the Poetic Edda and Prose Edda, historical sagas such as the Saga of the Icelanders and the Hemskringla, Nordic Scandinavian folklore and the experiences of modern practitioners. Using this combination of sources provides rich material for developing all aspects of spiritual practice. My introductory book, The Way of Fire and Ice, the living tradition of Norse paganism, was a toolkit for developing personal and communal Norse spirituality, whether you practice on your own, are with a community, or are trying to start your own community. This sequel, Spinning Wyrd, is as much a toolkit as it is a philosophical work. Mystically inclined practitioners will find a thorough set of tools for developing direct relationships with animistic powers, communing with the dead, and cultivating their skills in ecstatic trance journeywork. You will find many examples in this book of how core concepts in Nordic paganism interact and sometimes clash with the assumptions of modern life. All the material presented here is suitable for solitary and group practice, with the intent of being as adaptable and inclusive to the widest range of potential needs. How you apply the ideas and methods presented here is entirely up to what you think works best for you. A bit about me. I began my journey in radical heathenry without setting out to make a new form of heathen practice. My friends and I got started because we were seeking an inclusive, more directly relevant yet authentic form of heathen practice. Over the course of years, the members of the Golden Gate kindred experimented with new ways of doing familiar rituals, while also deconstructing or removing more bigoted elements of practice. We also agitated for more inclusive practice throughout heathenry, as part of Heathens United Against Racism. All of these ideas were first brought together in my first book, The Way of Fire and Ice. This introductory book covers the core elements of radical heathen practice, like the Nordic gods, the 9 worlds, ethics and ritual, with introductory materials on ecstatic practice and the Nordic mystical practice known as modern Seidr, heathen mysticism and magic. It also includes information on community organizing, providing seekers with all the tools they need to start their individual, group, and community.